Today is election day, and most states are expecting record turnouts. Larger cities, most of them Democratic-run cities, are also preparing for wide-scale rioting and looting. Most of these articles and news stories that are covering this do not say why they're boarding up other than for potential civil unrest. Trump supporters and conservatives are not, and never have been, the ones that will be out there looting, rioting, and destroying these businesses. These are all cities that can't seem to get control of the radical left and Antifa. Just last week during the Philly riots, the police were told to stand down, as businesses big and small were completely destroyed. They have liberal DAs that allow almost all of the people that are arrested out within hours, allowing them to terrorize these cities the very next day. It almost seems there's no or zero consequences for these criminals. And it's so out of control, these businesses are forced to board up and secure their stores the best they can. Now, thousands of people have fled the big cities for the suburbs. There are plenty of ultra-wealthy still left and living in New York City, but they'll have private armed guards protecting their buildings. It doesn't have to be this way. If these cities just supported the police and allowed them to actually do their job, the riots would be squashed immediately. So here we have Josh. I believe he's an ABC correspondent. Yeah. So he had posted a couple of pictures. This happens to be a Ralph Lauren boarding up. You know, most of these boutique style stores are usually the first ones to get hit up and looted. This is a video from Now This, which shows footage from around Washington, D.C., of storefronts boarding up in anticipation of tomorrow's election and the possibility of unrest. Similar examples of boarded up businesses have been recorded in cities including New York City, Boston, and Dallas. So we have Drew Hernandez here. He's got a video from New York City, so I'm not sure what this place is, but you can see New York City is getting ready. And then we move on to an article from the Military Times. The National Guard Election Day Update. More than 3,600 troops active in 16 states. The National Guard is gearing up to activate across the country to support the November 3rd general election. So it goes on to say there's a new round of newly disclosed Guard activations Monday, including 1,000 troops in Massachusetts, 300 in Arizona, 300 in Alabama, and an undisclosed number in Florida, Oregon, and Illinois. Here we have a video of the National Guard rolling into Chicago. So it seems, though, there is a post right under this from the Chicago Office of Emergency Management. The city has not made any calls to deploy the National Guard in Chicago. Similar to past emergency preparedness plans, the state has stationed personnel at McCormick Place to be ready to respond if needed. However, there are currently no plans for them to be deployed. And here we have an article from the New York Post. New York City businesses board up shops ahead of the 2020 presidential election. With the 2020 presidential election just a day away, scores of New York City businesses have taken no chances and boarded up their storefronts over potential civil unrest and riots. So here we can browse through a couple of these pictures. You can see even a Staples is boarding up. It's terrible. So here we got an article from Daily Wire. Celebrities will have armed guards at their New York City apartments for Election Day. Wealthy celebrities living in at least one of New York's swankiest apartment buildings will be protected by armed guards during any civil unrest that may arise from the November 3rd election. And what's the last article here? So this is a USA Today article. It's basically going over what I had discussed before, that a non-scalable White House fence, military is on standby, police anticipate election protests. So federal agents are expected to erect a fence around the White House Monday, the latest example of security measures authorities are taking ahead of potential election day violence. Well, at least the USA Today says the truth, but where's that violence coming from? So it says here that a non-scalable fence will encompass the White House and Lafayette and Ellipse squares. And 250 National Guardsmen have been put on standby in the nation's capital. The Secret Service did not immediately respond to USA Today's request for comment. So, it's unfortunate that these things are happening. It's unfortunate that these businesses have to go through this. It's unfortunate we have weak mayors that are not allowing police to do their job, weak governors that are not supporting the police. There's no reason why this should be happening. There absolutely is no reason. And the media is to blame. Weak leadership is to blame. I don't know what else to say. Just go out and vote.